Zero. Today, we received news that our economy had 0% inflation.
But you talk about Trump all the time. So do you consider him to be...
I don't talk about Trump all the time.
Ultra MAGA?
I am deeply contemplating taking a busload of New Yorkers to go to Texas.
Inflation numbers are out. Joe Biden said something just indefensible, so we have to talk about that. The White House had a press briefing yesterday in which they were asked about the FBI raid on former President Trump's house. New York and Washington, D.C. has become overwhelmed with the busloads of illegal immigrants being sent to their states, and Fauci got booed throwing a first pitch in Seattle. All that and more coming up on this episode of Daily Caller Live. My name is Jobob. Daily Caller Live starts right about now.
Here we go!
Might be the only brown guy on earth named Jobob.
That is actually the third name, Jobob.
Live back from my parents' house. After a day in Phoenix, we're here today on Daily Caller Live. On today, it is August 10th, the year of our Lord 2022. A lot of stuff happened. The inflation numbers came out, which I know inflation is not a sexy topic, but Joe Biden said something so indefensible that we have to start off with that. We were going to start off with the White House press secretary, KJP, taking questions via the White House press briefing room, but on the the raid of President Trump's house by the FBI. But we will definitely get to that. First, I want to talk this. This is, again, leading off with this today because of how Joe Biden categorized this. I'm not going to belabor much. I'm going to just play this clip for you. First of all, just so you know, this is wrong. What Joe Biden is just said and you're about to hear is just flat out wrong. I'll explain why it's wrong and what he's trying to angle towards, or at least his press office is trying to angle towards. It's just a flat out lie. Check this out. Inflation went up 8.5% year over year, and Joe Biden said, just watch this clip. If you haven't already, click the little like button, click the little share button. I see there's a couple thousand of you watching on this thing. Click the like button. Just react to the video or comment or do something to engage. It really, really helps us out. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking. Listen to this very short clip from Joe Biden.
Actually, I just want to say a number. 0. Today, we received news that our economy had 0% inflation in the month of July.
Okay, so that's not true. CPI is up 8.5% year over year. Here's what they're getting at. Last month, inflation rose 9.1%. This month, inflation rose 8.5%. What he's saying is that it's going up still, but it didn't go up as much as last month. That's like me telling my wife, babe, I spent $100,000 this month. It's going to ruin us financially, and people are suffering because I spent $100,000 last month. But this month, I increased my deficit by 0%. I still spent $98,000, which of money we don't have on things that we don't need in our household. But I did increase the badness by 0%. It's like getting punched in the face 20 times and then saying, well, this month, you're not going to get punched in the face 21 times, still 20 times, but we've increased it 0%. How about that? Great, fantastic news. CNBC tweeted, rally, line up 5% year below the 8.7% expected. Great, I guess. I don't understand why that is a good news. First things first. Remember when inflation was at like 4 and 5% earlier this year or like last year, and people were like, "Wow, this is insane." And then it went up to the 8s, and then it went up last month to the 9s, and now it's back in the 8s. And for some reason, this is a cause for celebration. Yes, that's great that it potentially slowed. Who knows if this is a blip, or who knows if this is just I don't know. Who knows what this is? They just passed another bagajillion dollars being spent from the federal government. So I can't imagine that's going to help inflation. But at the same time, When Joe Biden says inflation rose 0%, it's just a flat out freaking lie, and he knows it. Inflation went up 8.5%. It was a 0% increase on something that was already bad. If you're getting punched in the face 20 times, it's not good news that the next time it's still 20 times, but it hasn't increased as much. You're still getting punched in the face. This is on CNBC, and I promise we'll get over to the FBI raid stuff from the White House. But watch this clip really quick, and then there's a fantastic graph to show you from the New York Times. Hopefully you're watching this and not listening to it on the podcast. Even though listening to it on the podcast is a great way to take in the Daily Caller live show. Check this out from CNBC.
Now, the year-over-year numbers. Year-over-year headline up 8.5. This is the one I was a bit nervous about. In the rearview mirror, it was up 9.1. 9.1, that was the highest since 1981. 8.5 brings us back to levels we haven't seen since just April of this year.
Okay, so that's all it is. They're excitedly talking about it only going up that much. CNBC tweeted, rally, 8.5% a month-to-month basis is 0%. Inflation cooled in July as gas prices and airfares fell, which is good. I'm not opposed to saying that I don't want inflation to continue to rise. The consumer price index climbed 8.5% in the year through July, compared with 9.1% prior to the prior month. The month-over-month basis is up 0%. That's what Joe Biden is talking about. Again, that is a misleading and terrible statistic. To re-emphasize that, here is a graph from the New York Times, not a conservative-leaning outlet, and how they show inflation. I'm going to make this bigger on the screen so you're able to see it. This is the graph that they show over the last couple years. Inflation, you can see, is a massive peak. And guess what? This last little dip right there, it went down just a little bit. And everyone is celebrating as if they've cured the inflation problem. But that's it. You can see that on the graph right there. If you're just listening to this, I'm going to describe describe what's happening. There is a massive ramp up and a tiny little blip down, and that's the cause for celebration. Again, I'm pro-inflation going down. Just so you know, if inflation were to shrink substantially under the Biden administration, I'm not going to fault them for celebrating it, because that would be great. I don't entirely know that that's possible, given how much money the federal government is spending. But that's it. Now, here's the other thing. Here's the other political thing. I can't really blame Joe Biden for trying to mislead Americans, because Americans, for some reason, don't pay attention to what's going on in the political realm. Remember, Sunday, I guess earlier this week, they passed the Inflation Reduction Act that literally has zero to do with inflation. It's a healthcare bill, it is a tax bill, it is a climate change bill. Nothing to do with inflation at all, except for maybe boost it because they're spending $750 billion. Because the American people don't pay attention, Joe Biden, President of the United States, can get away with saying stuff like inflation is at 0% this month. And nobody checks him on it except for us and you who are watching this sort of thing. All of that. It's disheartening. Anyways, let's get to this. Here's where you probably are all waiting for. If you didn't see the White House press briefing room yesterday, it was ablaze with questions surrounding the the FBI raid of the President Trump Mar-a-Lago estate. Just so you know, too, I'm pretty sure we mentioned this yesterday. Trump was not there. He was in Manhattan when the Mar-a-Lago place got raided. Here is Peter Doocy introducing the line of questioning that he went with for the day to Karine Jean-Pierre. We've got two videos on this. Just so you know, the update is that the FBI, I don't think, has said anything, unless I just missed it, but I feel like I wouldn't have missed it. We're still all kind of wondering why they decided to raid a former president. That's a big deal. Everybody thinks that's a big deal. From a political standpoint of, do you go after your political enemies? Now, if there is some sort of serious crime being committed, I think we can all agree that the FBI should look into it. But the problem is that we've all lost faith in the FBI, given how they... Remember just a couple years ago, Peter Strzok, who now is a guest on CNN, big time in the FBI's office, big time dude, was saying, yeah, we're going to undermine the election of Donald Trump because we don't like him. Anyways, all that being said, here's some of the questioning from Peter Doocy of Fox News to KJP. If you haven't already, click the little like button or the little reaction button. Maybe this makes you very, very upset, which justifiably so. You click that little button. Also, the share button really, really helps us out. And just, I don't know, let us know what you think in the comment section. These comments are flying through, so it's kind of hard to read. Sheila, or Shayla, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, says, Heart Peter Doocy. Let me see. Yeah, I'll look at some of these comments while these videos are playing, and we'll see if we can bring some more of them on the screen. All right, check this out.
Thanks, Green. Do you consider Donald Trump to be a political rival of President Biden?
I'm not going to speak to that from here.
But you talk about Trump all the time. So do you consider him to be...
I don't talk about Trump all the time.
Ultra MAGA? You guys were criticizing his handling of COVID last week. Yeah. You mentioned his January 6th response a couple days ago. No. So can you say, based on all that, I didn't say anything about Mar-a-Lago. I'm just asking you if you consider the president
I'm saying from here, comment.
Does then still want to think that he would be very fortunate to run against Trump in 2024, like he had said before?
Again, I'm not going to comment on.
I'm the president. In the next election, I'd be very fortunate if I had that same man running against me. Does he still?
All I can tell you, Peter, is that the president intends to run in 2024.
Okay, so they are not commenting on it at all. The White House did deny any knowledge of the raid on President Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. And Karine Jean-Pierre says, no, we don't talk about Trump all the time. Peter Doocy says, well, Ultra MAGA, you talk about how they failed at the border for some reason. So that's not true. Yeah, let's just roll into the next clip. Here's Peter Doocy continuing to press the question of, hey, what the heck is going on here? Check it out.
Is this administration weaponizing the Justice Department and the FBI against political opponents?
Peter, the president believes in the rule of law. The president believes in the independence of the Department of Justice.
That's a yes or no?
No, that is no. It's a yes or a no for you. I'm answering the question. You may not like it, but I'm answering the question, and I'm answering the question, and I'm telling you that we are not going to comment on a criminal investigation. The president has been very clear. I laid out what his thoughts were back on January 7th in 2021 about how he saw the Department of Justice. And I'm just going to leave it there. We're not going to comment from here, from this White House, on a criminal investigation that is currently happening.
So that is that. Bottom line is they're not really going to comment much about it. I wanted to bring up some of these comments here that I think they were interesting. Our new foe, I think, is a detractor saying, Doocy is trying to be Jim Acosta. There's some massive differences between Peter Doocy and Jim Acosta, and not from a partisan standpoint, because obviously they have their own things to pluck from that standpoint. Jim Acosta is just well, I won't use that term to describe him. He was just annoying. He didn't listen to any of the rules. Peter Doocy is respectful in pretty much every single instance with the president and with the White House press secretary. Jim Acosta would just yell at Donald Trump for some reason without being called on, and then wouldn't give up the microphone when he was done questioning. So there's that. Very, very different. Let me see. There's a lot of people in the comment section saying that attacking the president. The president is attacking the former president. All of that sort of stuff. We've got other comments here saying Doocy is the man. Yeah. So that's that. Moving on into this thing. Have you guys heard about this 87,000 IRS agents? I think this is a pretty interesting thing. And then I got a fantastic quote to wrap this up. This is from the White House press briefing room yesterday regarding the 87,000 new IRS agents that are supposedly going to be auditing only rich people. you're just listening to the podcast, I did a big exaggerated wink. Watch this, and then I'm going to bring up a great quote. Watch this.
On the record, that this will only apply to those earning over $400,000. The commissioner said, and I quote, "These resources are absolutely not about increasing audit scrutiny on small businesses or middle-income Americans, as we have been planning our investment of these enforcement resources is designed around Treasury directive that audit rates will not rise relative to recent years for households making under $400,000. So this is focus on those who are corporate wealthy tax cheats that congressional Republicans wanted to defend. That's who they wanted to defend. They wanted to defend those corporate tax cheats. This is not about that. This is not about folks who make less than $400,000.
So no new audits on anybody making under $400,000 a year.
Very clear. No.
This is a quote from Alexander Solzhenitsyn, who had his run-ins in the Soviet Union. "We know they're lying. They know they're lying. They know we know they're lying. We know they know we know they're lying. But they're still lying." We'll just leave that there. Maybe the IRS is only going to audit people who make over $400,000 a year. But I wouldn't bet a ton of money on that. Actually, I'd maybe bet $1 and only take some pretty substantial odds. In other words, I wouldn't bet on that at all. Dang, man, this is wild. Again, if anything breaks on this FBI raid, we covered this at length yesterday. If anything comes up of like, hey, here's actually why they raided it. Here's the evidence they found. Here's what they were looking for. We will talk about that. There's some speculation that it's possible that they were going after the documents, but were really looking for stuff. Here's the problem with some of the raids and warrants and stuff. If you are, let's just say, I don't know, doing some minor infraction, and they catch you doing the minor infraction and get a warrant based on that minor infraction. If they find a bigger infraction in your home or wherever it is that you live or work, they can prosecute you for that as well. So I think I'm getting that right, legally speaking. Again, I did not go to law school. I only considered it. But there's that. Jim says, good old-fashioned let's go Brandon, let's go Brandon, let's go Brandon, let's go Brandon chant. Not really sure what that means. Does anybody, what does let's go Brandon mean? I'd kind of forgotten. It's kind of flitted out of my mind. I haven't heard it chanted recently. Speaking of ridiculous policies, this might be the best political stunt ever pulled. I said this at the time. This sounds like a political stunt. When Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, said they were going to start sending busloads of illegal immigrants to Washington, D.C. and to New York City. I said it at the time. This is a pretty easily identifiable political stunt. Now, even if it is a political stunt, and even if the gambit is trying to show how ridiculous things are, there is a probability or chance that it would work. And it seems like it has. This seems to be the most successful political gambit that I've seen in all of my years doing politics. The busloads sent to New York and to Washington, D.C., both self-proclaimed sanctuary cities who will not dispel illegal immigrants. They will provide them with all of the resources they need to thrive in their localities, are getting overwhelmed with the couple buses of illegal immigrants being sent to their areas. Muriel Bowser, the mayor of D.C., and Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, are both screaming at this point, this needs to stop. While people in Texas, the governor of Texas, the governor of Arizona, saying, we sent you 1/100% of the people that are flooding across our border, and you guys can't handle it. What do you think that's like for us? Muriel Bowser, mayor of Washington, D.C., said that she has requested the National Guard to take action in the crisis of illegal immigration now in D.C. because of the buses being sent from Arizona and Texas. Harriet says that's a great idea. Sam says that's supposed to be a sanctuary city. Yeah, he's correct. Or she, I'm not sure which Sam. Yeah, this is what Eric Adams said yesterday, 2 days ago, regarding the illegal immigrants coming into New York City that he can't handle. He issues a threat that is not super threatening. Check this out.
I already called all of my friends in Texas and told them how to cast their vote. And I am deeply contemplating taking a busload of New Yorkers to go to Texas and do some good old-fashioned door knocking because we have to, for the good of America, we have to get him out of office.
Wow. Okay, so Eric Adams is saying he's going to take a busload of New Yorkers to go to Texas to campaign for Beto O'Rourke to be the governor so that the Texas government stops sending buses to New York City. That's the solution. The solution is not to appeal to the federal government and say, hey, you have the obligation to control the border. Can you, I don't know, control the freaking border? That's not what he's saying. He's saying that no. What I'd rather do is send buses of New Yorkers to Texas to campaign for a new governor to stop sending buses of illegal immigrants to our city rather than fix the border problem. Cool, dude. That's that story. This will wrap us up today because I think, oh no, I got the Chiron wrong. That's my fault. This is not supposed to say NYC can't handle illegals. It is supposed to say Dr. Fauci booed first a Mariners game in Seattle. Dr. Fauci, America's most hated Keebler elf, threw the first pitch at a Seattle Mariners baseball game yesterday. And there were protesters outside. There were protesters inside. You know why? Because Dr. Fauci is an egomaniac. And also, why is the director of the NIH... What's his NIH? Yeah, I think that's his official title still. It changes from time to time. Why is he why are we celebrating the guy, the medicine guy, regardless of whether or not you agree with him? Why are we, that's just like the director of the CDC is going to throw the first pitch at a baseball game. Why? That's not cool. I don't know. Is the HUD development strategic officer going to throw, I don't know, shoot the first basket at an NBA game? I don't know. Is the Department of the Interior going to sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl? Like, what are we doing here? Dr. Fauci met with some boos from some people in the stands. Now, just so you know, there's smattering of both. There's some boos in the local area, and there's some people clapping, which is odd. But that's actually the more interesting thing. So you're going to hear this clip, and you're going to see the people booing. But I want you to take a look at some of the people clapping and then making it known that they're clapping. Their hands are fully in the air. Yes, Dr. Fauci. I can understand booing. And again, this is not from I disagree with Fauci and I disagree with everything. That's all aside. I understand, regardless of trying to take political sides, why I would be very upset with Dr. Fauci. I am, by the way, so maybe that's just some inherent bias that I can't get rid of. But I can understand people being very upset. I can't understand people loving. I don't understand the worshipfulness of Dr. Fauci. That's odd to me. So, anyways, here's Dr. Fauci getting booed with some smatterings of clapping and more booing from across the stadium there in Seattle. Check it out.
Dr. Fauci will head up to announce deliver this evening's ceremonial first pitch.
This isn't Mr. Pandemic, loser!
All right. Anybody else think that's weird? I'm going to go back to this one section. Look at this lady right here. I think she's in the Crawford jersey. Look at look at her fist go up when Dr. Fauci throws. Maybe it's the lady next to her. Look, oh yeah, it's that. Like raises a fist of like, yes, he did it. I love this right here. This lady with this fist just in the air, just yes, Fauci, yes. I don't understand that. And I'm not. I don't know. I don't want to sit here and call this lady names, but like that's just a weird thing to be excited about. I don't know. What do you? I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. Anybody have any comments on the Faucinator throwing the first pitch? Wow, there are some aggressive comments. Tony Fauci is not a doctor. He's an effing murderer. Okay, that's sure. I won't go that far. Lots of Let's Go Brandon still. Just so you know, by the way, earlier when I said I don't know what Let's Go Brandon even means anymore, that was a joke. No, I'm fully aware of the Let's Go Brandon. I've got a Let's Go Brandon t-shirt. There was also a guy that commented, I think, regarding my capitalism shirt, which is available for sale on any of the social media platforms that you can find me on, also at capitalistpropaganda.us if you'd like to buy one of these t-shirts. He said, F capitalism, you effing C face. Like, okay, that's a little much, but I don't know. Interesting. Some people get fired up in the comment section. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Appreciate you sticking around, tuning in. Whoops, that's the wrong thing. Like I said, if anything happens with this Trump raid thing, we'll bring it to you. But as of right now, not entirely sure anything has come to light. Let me check Twitter really quick, just in case I don't want to miss you. Generally speaking, if I have something that's important and need to figure out if news is breaking, I go to Jack Posobic's Twitter. Shout out, Jack. He has not said anything since we've been on the air regarding the FBI making any sort of statements or Merrick Garland making any sort of statements. So, yeah, that is what it is. If anything happens, we'll let you know. This could be one of those things where we hear from the FBI today or not for 8 weeks to 10 years. Who knows? My guess is the longer it's prolonged, the worse it's going to get for the American political system. And I do not want that to happen. So I would hope that they were going to come out and say something sooner than later so we can all know what the heck is going on and not continue to throw accusations. If you haven't already, give me a follow on any of your social media accounts. Just type in JOBOB. The Chiron on Facebook is still wrong. 6 months going. Just type JOBOB, Jobob. Also, by the way, this is apropos of nothing, but every time I go speak at a place, they capitalize the first B in Jobob. That's not how I do it. And I don't really care all that much, but it's just one word, JOBOB. If you're brand new to the show and you don't quite understand that, one grandpa was Joe, the other one was Bob. My parents smashed them together, and that's how you got the brown guy with the hillbilly Alabama backwoods name. So I feel like I haven't given that disclaimer for a while. Anyways, that's going to do it for us today. We appreciate you sticking around, tuning in. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. We will not be here on Friday, so that probably won't affect your life at all. Friday we'll not be doing a show. So but we'll be back Monday. So sorry. So we'll be here tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Same time, same place. God bless America.